What if the greatest threat to Venom isn't from another world, but something created right here on Earth? A shadowy corporation, a deadly new symbiote, and a battle for humanity's survival. This is the untold story of Venom 3 2024. Stay with us as we uncover the chaos, betrayal, and the shocking twist that changes everything. Eddie Brock is trying to adapt to a quieter life after his battles with Carnage. He spends his days writing investigative pieces and trying to maintain a semblance of normalcy. However, Venom, the symbiote within him, is anything but quiet. Constantly craving excitement and action, Venom nags Eddie to let loose and indulge in their shared hunger for chaos and adventure. Their strained dynamic is tested further when Eddie uncovers something that pulls them both back into a world of danger. While working on an article about corruption in biotech companies, Eddie stumbles upon a tip about SymTech, a shadowy corporation conducting experiments with alien symbiotes. A leaked video shows horrifying footage of people fused with symbiotes in controlled experiments, most of them ending in catastrophic failures. The video hints at SymTech's obsession with unlocking the potential of symbiotes as weapons and tools for global domination. Eddie realizes that this corporation has access to symbiote DNA, possibly from Carnage's remains or other unknown sources. Venom immediately senses danger. He warns Eddie that a new symbiote, one more dangerous than Carnage, is being created in the process. This entity, Venom reveals, could upset the delicate balance between symbiotes and humans. At first, Eddie is reluctant to get involved. He wants to keep a low profile and avoid drawing attention to himself or Venom. But his journalistic instincts and Venom's unrelenting prodding eventually push him to dig deeper into SymTech's activities. Things escalate when SymTech sends highly trained bounty hunters to capture Eddie. These agents, equipped with cutting-edge technology derived from symbiote research, ambush Eddie in a tense and action-packed sequence. Venom barely manages to fend them off, showcasing new abilities that surprise even Eddie. However, the attack makes one thing clear: SymTech knows who Eddie is and what he's hiding. As Eddie and Venom regroup, they piece together the bigger picture. SymTech isn't just experimenting with symbiotes, they're creating a new breed of super symbiotes, designed to be weapons of destruction. The most dangerous among them is Toxin, a product of merging the most aggressive traits of symbiotes with human ruthlessness. Eddie realizes that Toxin's emergence could mean devastation on an unimaginable scale. The chapter ends with Eddie staring at the city skyline, knowing he and Venom are about to face a threat more powerful and unpredictable than anything they've ever encountered before. SymTech's experiments have given birth to a terrifying new symbiote, Toxin. Unlike Venom or Carnage, Toxin is the result of deliberate scientific manipulation, designed to combine the most lethal traits of symbiotes with human aggression and intelligence. Toxin bonds with Carl Mulligan, Drive, Evelyn Cade's enforcer, and a ruthless operative with a violent past. The fusion creates a symbiote unlike any other, a creature of chaos, destruction, and bloodlust. Toxin's personality is wild and unstable. Unlike Venom, who has developed a moral compass through his bond with Eddie, Toxin thrives on pure destruction. Mulligan, already a dangerous man, feeds the symbiote's darker instincts. Together, they create a horrifying entity with no regard for life or consequence. SymTech loses control of Toxin during a test mission, resulting in a massacre at one of their facilities. The chaos spills into the streets as Toxin escapes, leaving a path of destruction across the city. News reports flood in, showing graphic scenes of devastation. Buildings are destroyed, cars are flipped, and civilians are caught in the carnage. Eddie and Venom watch the footage in horror, knowing this is the symbiote they had sensed. Venom explains that Toxin is more than just a dangerous foe, it's an abomination that could destabilize the entire planet if left unchecked. Despite their awareness of the threat, Eddie is hesitant to act. He fears that confronting Toxin could expose Venom to the world, making them targets once again. However, Venom doesn't share Eddie's reservations. The symbiote feels a deep, primal need to eliminate Toxin, sensing that this new creation is a threat to all symbiotes, not just humanity. Venom urges Eddie to act quickly before Toxin becomes unstoppable. Meanwhile, SymTech attempts to cover up their failures, framing the destruction as terrorist activity to avoid public scrutiny. Dr. Cade refuses to admit defeat and sends her agents after Toxin, hoping to recapture or destroy the rogue symbiote. But her efforts are in vain. Toxin proves far too powerful for her mercenaries. Eddie realizes that no one else can stop Toxin, not SymTech, not the authorities. Reluctantly, he agrees to let Venom take charge, setting the stage for a dangerous encounter. The chapter ends with Toxin rampaging through the city, his savage roar echoing as Eddie and Venom prepare for a battle that could change their lives forever. As the threat of Toxin looms larger, Eddie finds himself in need of allies. He's unsure where to turn until Anne Wang, his ex-girlfriend, re-enters his life. Anne reveals that she has been working undercover as a legal consultant for SymTech, secretly gathering evidence against the corporation. Her investigation confirms Eddie's fears. SymTech has been manufacturing symbiotes, and Toxin is only the beginning of their plans. Anne shares vital information about Dr. Evelyn Cade's ultimate goal. SymTech is developing a fleet of genetically engineered symbiotes, planning to sell them to the highest bidders as unstoppable biological weapons. These symbiotes are designed to be smarter, stronger, and more aggressive than any naturally occurring ones, making them nearly impossible to control. The revelation sends a chill through Eddie. Venom, however, sees this as an opportunity to prove their dominance and end SymTech's schemes. Anne also introduces Eddie to a whistleblower within SymTech, a nervous but seemingly trustworthy scientist named Drive. Jonathan Price. Price claims to have been part of the team that created Toxin, but he now regrets his involvement. He offers to help Eddie infiltrate SymTech's headquarters to shut down their operations. Despite his doubts, Eddie reluctantly agrees to work with Price, knowing he has no other options. However, as Eddie and Venom delve deeper into SymTech's secrets, cracks in their alliance begin to form. Venom grows increasingly frustrated with Eddie's cautious approach, urging him to act more aggressively. At the same time, Anne's whistleblower begins to show signs of hesitation, raising questions about his loyalty. The tension reaches its peak when Price betrays them. SymTech had uncovered his role as a whistleblower and coerced him into luring Eddie and Venom into a trap. During a tense confrontation in an abandoned factory, SymTech's mercenaries ambush Eddie, Venom, and Anne. The betrayal nearly costs them their lives, and they barely escape with Anne's quick thinking and Venom's raw power. As they regroup, Eddie realizes they are out of options. They can no longer rely on outsiders. SymTech's reach is too vast, and betrayal could come from anyone. The only way to stop Toxin and SymTech is to take the fight directly to their doorstep. With tensions high and trust shaken, Eddie and Venom prepare for a dangerous infiltration of SymTech's headquarters. Eddie and Venom, now fully committed to stopping SymTech, formulate a daring plan to infiltrate the corporation's heavily guarded headquarters. Anne, still recovering from the ambush, insists on joining them despite Eddie's protests. Her insider knowledge of the building and its security systems is invaluable. Together, they devise a high-risk strategy to destroy the lab where new symbiotes are being bred and eliminate the resources fueling SymTech's experiments. Under the cover of night, Eddie, Venom, and Anne sneak into the SymTech facility. The atmosphere is tense, with every shadow and sound heightening their nerves. Anne leads them through a series of secret passageways she discovered during her time at the company. However, their progress is slow, as Venom becomes increasingly restless, sensing something powerful and dangerous nearby. When they reach the lab, they discover a horrifying sight. Rows of containment chambers house embryonic symbiotes, their pulsating forms glowing eerily under fluorescent lights. SymTech has been experimenting with ways to mass-produce symbiotes, creating an army of creatures that could be deployed globally. Eddie and Venom realize the stakes are higher than they ever imagined. If SymTech succeeds, the entire world could be overrun by weaponized symbiotes. Before they can destroy the lab, Toxin arrives, drawn by the chaos and carnage he thrives on. His entrance is dramatic, crashing through walls with devastating force, his roar reverberating through the facility. Toxin's bond with Carl Mulligan has reached its peak, making him nearly unstoppable. The ensuing battle is chaotic and brutal. Toxin's raw strength and unpredictability push Venom to his limits, while Eddie struggles to keep control amidst the violence. Dr. Evelyn Cade appears during the battle, revealing her twisted motivations. She sees the symbiotes as humanity's future, an evolutionary leap that will place her at the forefront of a new world order. Her chilling monologue reveals she views Toxin as her ultimate creation, a weapon capable of reshaping the world. The showdown intensifies as Anne fights to destroy the lab's main servers, cutting off SymTech's ability to control their creations. Venom and Toxin clash in a visually stunning battle, their powers colliding in destructive waves. The facility begins to collapse as explosions ripple through the lab. Eddie and Anne narrowly escape with Venom's help, leaving SymTech in ruins. However, Toxin survives, disappearing into the night, setting the stage for a larger battle to come. The destruction of SymTech's facility is both a victory and a hollow triumph. Eddie, Anne, and Venom escape the chaos, but the consequences of their actions begin to weigh heavily on them. SymTech's headquarters is in ruins, its experiments wiped out, and Dr. Evelyn Cade is presumed dead in the explosions. However, Toxin remains at large, an uncontrollable force of destruction roaming the city. As Eddie and Anne recover in a safe house, they reflect on the night's events. Anne is haunted by the lives lost in the battle, including the innocent test subjects SymTech experimented on. Eddie struggles with his own guilt, questioning whether he could have done more to prevent Toxin's escape. Meanwhile, Venom, uncharacteristically quiet, reflects on his failure to stop Toxin. Despite his bravado, Venom acknowledges that Toxin poses a greater threat than they anticipated, not only to humanity but to symbiotes as a species. In the days that follow, news reports flood the media with images of the destruction caused by Toxin's rampage. The city is in chaos, with authorities unable to stop the symbiote. Eyewitness accounts describe a terrifying creature that seems to thrive on chaos and fear. Public sentiment toward Eddie and Venom shifts, with many blaming them for unleashing this nightmare. Eddie realizes that their fight is far from over. He and Venom must embrace their role as protectors, not just for the city but for the balance between humanity and symbiotes. Despite their victories, they know Toxin is out there, growing stronger and more dangerous with each passing day. Anne, despite her injuries, vows to continue helping Eddie, understanding that this fight goes beyond personal stakes. It's about the survival of the world as they know it. The chapter concludes with Eddie and Venom tracking Toxin to an industrial district on the city's outskirts. They prepare for the inevitable confrontation, knowing it will push them to their limits. As they approach, Venom senses something ominous, a new, more powerful symbiote presence emerging. In a post-credits scene, a mysterious meteor crashes into the Earth, its impact unnoticed by the world at large. From the smoldering crater, another symbiote begins to form, its ominous shape hinting at an even greater threat to come. The final shot is Eddie and Venom silhouetted against the skyline, determined to face whatever darkness lies ahead.